Hello and welcome. I am the ConflictNerd and this is The Sims 4. Today we're going to be building a cottage that I haven't yet named. By the time this video goes out, I will have a name for it. It'll be in the title. But right now, no idea. I have no idea what to call this. So this was probably the most challenging thing I've ever built. I should point out and preface everything by saying that I had a lot of help. I live streamed this build yesterday, actually, based on when the video goes up. I live streamed the build here on YouTube, which was the first, and it was a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to be doing that more often, but it was a challenge. I don't usually build residential builds, houses. I don't usually do houses, basically. And I usually avoid them because I'm not very good at them. I can do a community lot, I can do a library, I can do a pub, I can do a park. I'm not going to do a park because that'd be a boring speed build. But I can do things like that and it's easy enough. But when it comes to a house, there's a lot... There's not as much complexity as you would get from a library or as you would get from a pub. You know, with a pub you have the bar area, you have seating areas, you have alternate seating areas, you have the bathrooms, you have, you know, back rooms, you have a beer garden, you have the upstairs bar, and all the complexity that that brings. But with a house, you've got the building, a living room, a kitchen, bedrooms. Even if you have multiple bedrooms, it's still just a bedroom, you know, it's all the same thing. It's bed, dresser, mirror, whatever. And a bathroom. And it's a smaller space. This is quite a large cottage, I should say, but the reason for that is simply that with a tiny space, it's hard to get lots of detail in, and I wanted to get lots of detail in here, so that's sort of why it's such a small space. It's also quite open, strangely, but we'll come to that in a minute. Basically, this build terrified me because I didn't know how I was going to do it. But in the end, I'm quite happy with the outcome that we wind up with. Now we're going in here and laying out all of the floors. There's going to be 2 bedrooms in here. There is a bathroom, there's a giant kitchen across dining room, and that massive space you're seeing with the fireplace is the living space. I'm not calling it a living room because it's too big to just be called a room, but it's the living space. In there we're going to have the fireplace, which is going to be moved to the other side of the room. We're going to have the sofas, the chairs, there's a bookshelf, there's a desk with a crappy computer, there's lots of stuff in there, there's bits of clutter, there's multiple rugs. It's just a really big living space, and I like to imagine it's where the Sims are going to spend a lot of their time. I haven't actually play tested the build. I have put a Sim in there to make sure that he can sort of get about and there's no problems, and there doesn't seem to be, so I imagine the build is working fine. But I wanted a nice big area for all the Sims to spend their time in. Now the windows in this build were a bit of a nightmare. There aren't really any good windows that are this dark wood color, and that was really unfortunate, but we wind up dealing with that. Now there you can see I was toying around with an accent wall, a big red accent wall. I end up settling on that paneling because I think it looks a lot better, and that's actually inspired by my house in real life. We've got that in our living room. We have all these white walls and a big wooden wall with the fireplace on it, and I think it looks great. Now that wall paper and paneling in the kitchen, love it to bits. I love how that looks. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and I just adore it to bits. I don't know what it is. I think it just looks so humble and rustic, and it looks like it belongs in a cottage. This here is going to be the second spare bedroom, or the second bedroom, which is technically a spare bedroom, or if you've got kids, they'll go in there. Going to be 2 single beds in there. The green room in the corner there is the master bedroom, and that little room that we just put tiles into is the bathroom. Of course, putting down some carpet in the living room, some wooden floor in the bedrooms, and the same tile across the bathroom and the kitchen, because I love it to bits. Some nice dark decking at the front and back of the house. I am so happy with how this looks in terms of just the various, the walls and the flooring. I think it just works. It's nothing over the top. You know, the living space is so simple, but it just works. The bedrooms are simple, but work. The kitchen is warm and cozy, and I love it. Now right there, we just moved the fireplace and accent wall across the room because it looked much better over there. And now we're trying to find a nice sofa and armchair set to work in here. And the thing is, as I said, I was live streaming this, and for whatever reason, I kept saying that this is a house where old people would live. Even though it's probably not, I'll probably put some modern Sims in here. You know, some nice young Sims who know all about technology, and whatever. I don't know why I decided that old people would be in here, but whatever the case. It's old people with a giant flat screen TV, and as you'll see in a little bit, it's old people with a crappy computer, like the most basic computer that you can get, so I don't know what my thought process was, but I clearly wasn't thinking about that. Now there we go there, that's pretty much the living space, that's the seating area with the TV and all of that. And over on this wall, I considered adding some art, but we end up not doing that. I actually moved it to this little space here, because there wasn't much else I could do there. This wall gets a nice big bookshelf on it, and I was considering putting some shelves above it so I could put some things up there. But that didn't really work out, didn't really look right, and I generally wasn't too happy with it. I thought about adding them in the corner there, but again, just didn't really work. I thought about a seating area too. Again, didn't really work. It looked a bit weird having those chairs over there. It looked more like a community lot than a humble cottage, so I pretty much stayed clear of that idea. I thought about adding a bookshelf to this area. There weren't really any that worked. I thought about a desk or something, but we end up just going with a bit of clutter. We have a coat rack, we have a backpack, and we end up with a box of clutter there as well. And I just like to imagine that that's where someone comes in, they throw their coat up in the rack, a backpack down, and, you know, they can throw their shoes into this little, I suppose, foyer area, the little area here, the little entranceway to the house. We actually end up getting rid of the 2 racks of shoes because someone pointed out during the stream that the door would open and hit them. So they were really in a bad place in terms of the door opening. There wasn't anywhere else I could actually put them, so I just get rid of them. And I think it looks alright. This little area doesn't need to be all that elegant and fancy. There doesn't need to be anything too special in there. So I just put a plant in the corner. We're going to go ahead and change the walls as well there. And that's kind of it, really. That's not much more to it. Adding in a load of lights here. We do change those later on in the build because someone pointed out they're too old looking. I like them. They gave off a great deal of light, especially considering The Sims 4 can be really dark. But it's alright. We changed them a bit later on, and it just works out quite nicely. Now here we go, finally adding in the desk, and in a second actually we'll be adding in the fabled computer, which is absolutely dreadful. As I said, it is the most basic computer that you can get, and as someone rightfully pointed out in the stream chat, basic computer, massive flat screen TV. Apparently I wasn't thinking, so you know, it's probably not the first time that's happened. Adding another lamp into the corner there, going with a yellow one this time. I think we used that lamp 3 times, and all 3 times it's a different color, so at least I've got that going for me. I don't keep using the same thing and keep the same pattern. At least I'm not that stupid. Gonna add a nice square rug into this area because it just felt really open and like it was very bare. I think that blue rug just nicely contrasts everything else and somehow worked, even though it didn't match anything. Moving into the bathroom, of course, this is probably the most simple room in the house, even though I spent a little bit more time on it than I care to admit. I don't know what it was, I couldn't seem to get the bathroom to work, and that kind of annoyed me. I couldn't get a layout that I was happy with. I wanted some counters originally, but I realized they looked silly, so I kind of said, I thought about one of the more old-looking sinks, but I just settled on that one, and oh, the bathroom was just, it was weird. I just couldn't get happy with that bathroom. I wanted a towel rack, but I realized it would look too busy and too enclosed and bulky, and oh, the bathroom was just more of a nightmare than I care to admit. I end up just getting something that's quite nice looking. I think the next thing we do is just add a thing into the corner there briefly. Didn't really like it. So a laundry basket goes in the corner and a rug goes just in front of the bath there as well. And that's pretty much the bathroom. Not much more to it. We're going to be moving into the master bedroom here. My game actually, or sorry, my recording didn't crash. The game didn't crash. My mouse ran out of battery at this point of the stream, which was thoroughly embarrassing. But that was alright, we got it sorted. I stole some batteries from a lightsaber I had lying around. Of course, what else would I steal them from? This master bedroom, I'm really happy with, even though I was really unsure about green walls of all things. But somehow I think I managed to make it work. I think it works just purely because it's green and sort of gold with some nice dark wood. It just looks very almost royal in a way. I don't know, it's very simple, there's not a lot to it, but I just think it works. I think the clock on the wall, the bedside tables, the dresser and all that stuff, it just sort of works. Now, I wanted this room to be completely, almost gender neutral. I wanted you to be able to put, you know, a boy or a girl or two boys and two girls or a boy and a girl in here and not have to worry about, oh, it's blue or it's pink or it's red or it's whatever. So I always imagine yellow, and I think it is generally the accepted kind of neutral color. It's when a baby's being born and you're thinking, oh, will I get a pink balloon or a blue balloon or a blue this or a pink that? If you don't know the gender, I think people just go for yellow. So that's why I always go for yellow in rooms like that. And yeah, I think it just works better. I think it's the smart thing to go for. If you want to change up the room, then you can go ahead and do that. And that's probably something I should mention. I'm going to be adding all of my builds to the gallery in bulks in groups of 3. So this build and the previous 2 are going to be available on the gallery now. All the info on how you can get them will be in the description. It's going to be every 3 builds. So the next 2 builds won't be on the gallery until the next one comes out. So the 6th build I do will be when build number 4, 5, and 6 are on the gallery. It's just my way of doing things so I can get a little collection going up at any one time. Now here we are working on the kitchen. I love this. I love doing kitchens. I don't know what it is, but I like having just big kitchens with counters, loads of counters and loads of cabinets and cooker hoods and all of that stuff. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I love it to bits. Here we are adding in a dining table. I figured you don't need anything too extravagant here in a little cottage. So a nice, you know, 2x1 table with the 6 chairs around it there. I just thought it worked. Gonna go ahead and add in some decoration here to the walls. Nice big painting on the wall was of course necessary. I thought I'd used that before. It turns out I hadn't used it before, so you know, that worked. Hanging up a coat and a hat by the door there. I love that. I think it looks absolutely perfect, just having the coat and the hat hung up by the door. It looks lovely. It's like someone's come in the back door or ready to go out the back door and do something, and it seals the deal with me for this being a cottage. I don't know what it is, but it just looks so humble and lovely, and this, I don't know. That's the thing with this build. It's not a small, humble cottage at all. It's a pretty big build. I mean, this kitchen is huge. It really is. But I just love it to bits anyway. And also, just speaking of loving things to bits, that thing I put in the corner back there that actually goes in the corner, I didn't know it existed. Now that I do, it's going in everything I build. Because I always struggle to find things to put in a corner that actually works in a corner. Now I have it, I'm using it. I'm using it on everything I can use it on, so expect to see that a few more times. Also, cork boards. I don't know what it is, but I just love cork boards. I like to imagine that people just, you know, it's like, oh, we got a letter, pin it on the board. That's what I do. Anyway, we're going about here and changing all of the lights as I said we would. We're using these ones here. They give off some good light. And they generally work. There's 3 variants. I think I use all 3 variants at one point or other. I think I use the white and gold ones in the bathroom the bedrooms. I use the fully white ones in the living space and the kitchen, and I use the yellow one in the bathroom. Adding a nice rug underneath the dining table there, and we're now outside adding some steps. The outside of this build, the landscaping took me a lot longer than I thought it would. I usually don't do a lot of landscaping, but I realized cottage needs landscaping, needs trees and hedges and flowers and stuff like that, and it ends up looking really, really nice. I think I also put a fountain out in the front space as well as some plants on this decking as well as the 2 chairs. That coming back to the idea that you'd have maybe an old couple in this cottage, which you could do, I suppose, if you so desired. And it might look kind of adorable. Now here we go, adding in all of the plants and hedges and all of the things I could. I really go nuts with this, and there's the first of the trees going in. I don't know that I like the path that I end up doing in this house, but I love the plants. Now, I was originally going to have trees with plants around them like this until my brain kicked in and went, wait a minute, that wouldn't work in the real world, which I know it, you know, The Sims isn't the real world, but you can't have a plant growing under a tree because the tree will take all the nutrients and the plant won't get any sunlight and photosynthesis can't occur, and it just doesn't work like that. Also, I wanted to put plants elsewhere and sort of just decorate this path a little bit. I don't know what it is, but I went nuts with landscaping on this build. Also, cherry blossom tree in the corner. That's another thing I'm probably going to use a lot because I love those trees. They look so amazing. So just expect to see more of those. Now these little hedges here, I actually wind up using quite a few of them along the path here. I use them about the house as well in various other places. And I'm so happy with how it looks. I think it nicely borders the path up to the house and makes it look so wonderful. I love it to bits. I love how colourful and alive the outside of this build feels. A nice big hedge along the front. I wasn't sure about doing that originally, but I realised, you know what, it actually sort of works. Sort of one coming around there, it brings a little bit of privacy to the lot, even though you can sort of just go around the side really easily, but it brings a nice little bit of privacy to the front of the lot, and looks really lovely. We sort of, I was thinking about a fence there actually. I wanted to bring a little bit of privacy to the back of the lot, but I realised there's not a lot of space, there's no point, so we end up getting rid of the hedge there instead of the fence. But yeah, another tree to the back there. We end up adding some more plants, bit of terrain paint to make it look like people have been walking around there, and maybe a fountain, maybe a pond. I end up getting rid of this. I don't like the design at all, but I do discover you can do this, and these exist. So one of those in the front garden looks absolutely lovely, and really, there's not much more to it. A lot of terrain paints here and there. I think I add some more plants to the side and back of the house, as well as a couple of little tweaks just here and there to make sure everything is okay. But at the end of the day, that is kind of it. These plants here are just to make it a little bit more enclosed, make it look a little bit more private, and just a little bit more homely. I was considering putting some hedges along this side of the build, but I thought just a nice little group of plants there in the corner would look lovely, as well as some more hedges out back with the terrain paint below it to make it look a little bit more detailed. But really, folks, that is, as they say, that. We're going to be moving into the screenshots any second. Now, there we go. A nice shot of the front of the house. Love it to bits. I think we have another shot of the front of the house coming out of sort of the side of the house. The next shot's going to have a sim in it. He's called Housey McScreenshot. Yeah. Meet Housey McScreenshot. He's going to be in all of these. He's going to be how I test my residential lots. Anyway, folks, that is it. You can get this lot if you so desire. Information will be in the description. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and do all that stuff. Do all the social stuff. I've been the ConflictNerd, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.